last year's semifinals. Elon, that was the game, in my opinion, that got them into the NCAA tournament. They really made a statement. Towson, from that game on, kind of struggled at the end of 2017. It's been a little bit of a reverse story here. Towson, of course, one of the nation's top teams, and Elon looking for a big win here today.
A quick look at CAA Defensive Player of the Week, Kylie Keating. And what's a change in both goaltending situations for each of these programs, just in case this is your first time seeing them this year. It was Benson in the cage a year ago for the Tigers. For Elon, of course, having to figure out a way to replace the graduated Rachel Ramirez, who was a bit of a do-everything type of keeper.
Rachel Ramirez, when we were on our way here, you said that you were so impressed with how she played outside of the cage. And really, Elon, she set the tone for their defense last year. I think they've still been making adjustments, but Towson defense, same as it's always been, one of the nation's most premier units.
And conversely, going from Ramirez to Kylie Keating, who Sonia LaMonica in a conversation earlier this week, the Towson head coach calling her one of the biggest surprises of the year. And there's Tori Cipollone, the senior from Windham, New Hampshire. Her first year in between the pipes for Josh Hexter's club. Elon in the white, and Towson in the dark. And much better than what we dealt with Sunday down at James Madison, with what was pink jerseys with a purple outline in terms of numbers. Should be a little more easily identifiable today. Things you're looking for early on, Hallie, both sides.
I think for Elon, draws, exactly what we saw there. They need to capitalize on what Towson isn't very strong at altogether this year. They need to capitalize and take possession on their draws, and I think it's important to do what we saw there, attack. Don't be afraid to, get this Towson defense out of their comfort zone.
Cammie Lynch with the backup about a minute into this one. High of 77 today here in Elon, North Carolina. Absolutely perfect spring day for women's lacrosse. 2 of the last 3 unbeatens here in CAA play to start things off. Godfrey fed it behind. And up top and out of bounds. And Asher this time the one on the backup.
And what we'll see here as the shot clock's winding down, it'll be interesting to see what Elon does with the possession. Do they try to get the shot?
And Asher trying to do just that. And lost out of bounds as the clock expires. About a minute 45 seconds into this first half.
And of course, a number of shots there, but no shots on goal, and that's what resets this possession clock. So what we've seen a lot of teams do, if seconds are winding down, do they go for that shot, or do they toss it over to the corner, try to redefend quickly and get it back?
And our first look at the Towson offense, actually scoring the ball more than it was a season ago. And you think about it as we talked about in our pregame conversation, with how many different options there are in this offense and how many they had even a season ago. It seemed like they had more a year ago. The fact that they're scoring even more, really, really impressive for Sonia LaMonica's club. Towson in on what's a 5-game win streak. Coming across, and a nice twist for Shelby Stack. Actually checked that Annie Sachs.
And you mentioned this Towson offense. So much depth, which I think has really made the difference for the Tigers this year. 7 players in double-digit scoring through just 12 games. Everyone's a threat out there.
Yeah, they now have what is 3 different candidates for the Tewaaraton watch list. Emily Gillingham, the latest one to join it. But quickly, wasting no time, Kat Connell or Gabby Cha getting them on the board. Sal, the senior from Gwinnett, Maryland.
Towson goal. Scored by number 31.
And Cha actually coming back after what was a knee injury, coming off of what was a torn ACL from a season ago. South Tigers with the early lead. Draw circle, a matchup to watch all night. Melissa Birdsell for Elon. Towson will rotate a couple different ones. Natalie Solmonti typically the one to take them.
A scrum right there at the 30-yard line. That's another new rule this year in 2018. Much like the men's game, players have to hold behind the 30 yards, so it really makes it a draw team unit out there. 3 versus 3 to get a clean possession.
Nice feed to the middle of that Towson defense, but nobody home, and Keating able to execute the clear.
And Towson, great anticipation there by Sammy Chenoweth. And that, that Elon offense, I think that Elon wants to be smart when they're pushing the tempo. They definitely want to drill their offense upfield, but
Montalbano with a feed down low, and a whistle and a foul on the Phoenix.
the Towson defense is just way too good on those 50-50 balls. And that's what'll happen. Towson's so good at clearing the ball upfield, and Carly Telekamp right here on another 8-meter opportunity.
30 points on the year for Telekamp, and this one trickles wide. Deflected out, but will be played back in by Solmonti. Can likely hear the wind rumbling at Rudd Field. So it's the perfect day where not a whole lot of humidity, but a little bit of a nice breeze out there. You said your favorite weather when you were a player.
Oh, absolutely. The sun's just starting to come out, no humidity, a little bit of wind in the air. And, I think right now the sun's in our eyes, but what's great for both of these goalkeepers, sun not in their eyes the way the sun's setting today.
Another big early opportunity for the Tigers. The Canadian Gillingham, the former box lacrosse player, dropping it in, top shelf.
Gillingham just such a dominant player, so quick off this 8-meter. And I think what's most important with this goal, you mentioned, the Canadian, the box lacrosse. She's in, she's tight. And right there, just a finesse shot right into the back of the goal. When you're that close, I think that so many attackers, they just want to put a lot of power on that shot. But what's so great, finesse, just quick right over the goalkeeper's shoulder here.
Yeah, the team high 35th goal of the year for Emily Gillingham. And almost an advantage to play the box game, because there's a bit of an adjustment period, but I feel like a lot of the players that make that transition end up better for it.
Oh, it's a huge advantage. I think that you've seen so many of the Canadian box-trained lacrosse players be met with so much success here in the field game at the college level. You look at Northwestern's roster, certainly up at Canisius, now Louisville here at Towson. These players, I think what sets box lacrosse players apart is they're so good in tight spaces, finishing those goals like we just saw Gillingham do.
Birdsell off of what was a race for it, finally picked up by J.C. Cooper, who Josh Hexter calls one of the workhorses on this team.
Oh, and that was a great redefending effort there by Emily Gillingham. But we've seen this game 3 draws, all Elon Phoenix possessions.
Josh Hexter's offense this year, about 9 goals a game. Thing that you always have to respect about the Phoenix is the way that they schedule. They don't shy away from anybody year in and year out. And you'd look at their record and you would say, well, 2-8, but they're probably the most deceptive 2-8 team in the country.
I think that for this Elon team, certainly Towson, the two of them do such a great job scheduling the strongest teams they can outside of the CAA to ready them for right now, for what's coming in the CAA tournament.
And you look at the way Elon opened, 3 straight ranked opponents all on the road, at Duke, at UVA, at Notre Dame. Phoenix able to stand tall, Cipollone. Biggest question though for Elon, the ability to respond in what has been 4 games without Nicole Sinakori. One of their top scorers, second leading scorer behind Stephanie Asher. Definitely an adjustment.
She was one of the most impressive players for this team last spring, and I think that whenever you lose a player that's putting up that many points, it's an adjustment. I think for her, she was just such a calming presence on this offense, such a leader. That's even more of an adjustment when you lose one of your veteran leaders.
Godfrey, one of those, trying to pick up the slack, and there's the scoring start for the Phoenix.
A great individual effort there out of Abby Godfrey, and that's exactly what Elon needs to do. Attack this Towson defense and make smart decisions. A great shot there, great alley dodge with the Towson defense collapsing. Abby able to create there for herself.
Abby down the alley, huh?
It's a good one.
Josh Hexter calls her one of his spark plugs and one of the most competitive kids that he's ever coached. 9th one of the year for Abby Godfrey, her 13th point.
Maddie Tribby getting caught there, going for the check. Always want to maintain that body positioning, and Abby Godfrey just reading that and taking advantage of it.
Back to the draw. Birdsell and Solmonte. It's a series that's been dominated by the Tigers up until that semifinals victory for Elon last year. Towson had won every matchup.
And Towson, again, heavily favored to do that here, but I think a valuable lesson that they learned last year was you cannot take any team for granted, any matchup for granted, even though you're the higher ranked team, the favorite. I think Towson really learned a valuable lesson last year in the CAA tournament against this team.
And a lot of the core from that Tiger team returning. I actually asked Sonia LaMonica, how much have you thought about this one? Did you circle this one on the calendar? And she said, honestly, didn't really pay attention until conference play opened up. Nice deflection by Keating off of what was the turn for Dupere. And quickly taken care of by the All-American from a season ago, Olivia Conti, who's on that Tewaaraton watch list.
Oh, Olivia Conti, she is so strong defensively, and she is just so dangerous, causing turnovers, picking up those 50-50 balls on the turf. Really, the same can be said for this entire Towson defensive unit.
And mishandle, though, here for the Tigers. The freshman Thornton off of her stick and out of bounds.
Just getting a little too excited there in transition.
In terms of new additions, Caitlin Thornton has been one of the best ones for Towson. Freshman from Stony Brook, New York. Out on the island, Ward Melville High School.
She has already been voted the National Rookie of the Week, and she's been in the running on a number of other occasions. She's really just been, this is a tough lineup to crack yourself into, such a veteran-heavy lineup, but when you come in and you play the way that she has, LaMonica just doesn't have a choice. Speaking
of trying to work your way in, not a whole lot of folks have been able to do it well against this Towson defense this year. The likes of Conti, Chenoweth, and Walfer, a tough proposition for opponents.
I think Walfer, she's the leader back there. She's kind of the field general, but when you have a defensive unit that's played this long together, multiple seasons, you can tell. They just move together as a unit when you watch this zone go to work.
Unsuccessful dodge for Asher. Rounded comes to Callie, who's coming off of what was her 4th career hat trick.
And right there, beautiful defense. Towson collapsing, and what I love about this play right there, no fouling. Not going for the stick check. Let your body do the work.
And I think that's something we've come accustomed to seeing under Sonia LaMonica coach teams, disciplined back there. But quick transition the other way for Elon. Shannon Horan, who's been playing primarily defense in the midfield this year. We get the contact, and the Phoenix retain possession.
And Shannon Horan, see, this is the one rule. I love free movement. I love the possession clock, but fouls in transition negate transition goals, which is something that I don't necessarily love. I don't have anything to counteract that criticism. But Shannon Horan, wide open lane, a foul there to slow it down, and once again, Elon, transition goal opportunity gone.
See how the Phoenix respond, coming off of big last 12 minutes of both halves. And getting in and finding a way in. The Phoenix have tied this up.
A great goal there. A little confusion on the sideline. Looks like there was a whistle for shooting space. But the Elon shot finished here. And the Towson coaching staff not too pleased about this on the sideline.
And Mary Curtin. So it takes less than 4 minutes. 2 goals in the last 3 minutes and change. Although, let's see. No.
Looks like it's going to be called back. Illegal stick.
So they wave off the goal from the freshman Mary Curtin. Josh Hexter's staff actually examining the stick in question. And for a moment at least, momentum stopped here for the Phoenix.
It's just that's a huge play. Definitely a little deflating after such a stellar offensive effort. This year, not only is the goal called back, but the stick is removed from play, as we see here, the stick in front of the table down on field.
And going to conduct a test just to make sure this one's okay. And that one passes. That would really ruin the start to your weekend, wouldn't it, if you have one and then another one? You have to find a third.
I don't know how many players have 2 backup sticks.
Yeah, that's a great point.
I have to borrow somebody else's.
So Curtin's goal is in fact negated. Matchup of what's the number 2 scoring offense in the CAA against an Elon team that hasn't scored quite as much. Phoenix about 9 goals a game. Towson a little bit better than 14. But early on, if you looked at the numbers, you would think that the Phoenix were winning this game. Have outshot Towson so far, have won all the draws. But instead still trail by 1. Gillingham and Chaley Love. The freshman Thornton and Solmonte. And oddly enough, hadn't really called Caitlin Montalbano's name with the feed down low there, and Love, top shelf, and they'll have the backup. And a quick feed off the restart from Thornton, and back up by 2 are the Tigers.
Montalbano just doing a great job reading her defense. The minute her defender's head turns to kind of check out where the ball is, where Towson is attacking from. Wide open there, Montalbano. Beautiful finish, too.
See, all we had to do was ask for it. Hadn't talked about her much. And Caitlin Montalbano.
Scored by number 2, Caitlin Montalbano.
It's weird to think that a former Tewaaraton Watch player and player of the year of the CAA from a season ago could get lost in the shuffle because there are so many scoring options.
I think that that's what makes this Towson team just that more dangerous this year. I think they've really worked on sharing the ball a little bit more offensively, and I think teams used to key in on Caitlin Montalbano a little too much. And, it's been great to see this Towson team. I think that they've worked the ball around so much you can't really identify who are you going to shut down, who are you going to face guard, because on any given day, any player is stepping up.
And we've seen that, both the depth in their attack unit, the depth of their midfield. Shaylee Love, Gabby Chaw on the attack side of things. The likes of Tribby, Shelby Stack, Maddie Dickman in the midfield. Phoenix offense trying to find a way in.
Elon's 5th draw control of the game. Towson has just 1.
Nice feed to the turn, and the right idea.
This is going to be a yellow card on a dangerous shot. Sammy Chenoweth taking the follow through. Looks like right to her head there.
What was the worst shot you ever took?
I broke my jaw.
Wow.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, I would say so. The question is, were Mom and Dad Quillen in the stands when that happened?
It was in practice. Christina Dove, if you're listening, I will never forget it.
Cycle up! Cycle up! Back out!
So far, 3 different Tigers, Chaw, Gillingham, and Montalbano, responsible for the 3 goals on the board.
Great movement here by the Tigers. Quick ball movement, making sure this Elon defense continues to move.
Trying to go low, Gillingham, and Cipollone up to the challenge with the deflection.
Great backup there by Carly Telekamp. Shot clock resetting now.
Keep it hot, Thor. Keep it hot.
Tigers recycle with Montalbano. And wanted the cutting Thornton out of bounds back over to the Phoenix.
A little bit of an errant pass, but also the sun's right in our eyes, certainly on Thornton's eyes right there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, identifying players on that end hasn't been the easiest task. Birdsale trying to scoop that up off the carpet right in front of the cage. And chased down by Meg Lynch. Speaking of players who you don't hear about a whole lot on that defense, because she's the 4th name you talk about after Conti, Chenoweth, and Walford.
The unsung hero of the group. And right here, this Elon team, we've seen it. They're dominating the draw controls. I think offensively, they just need to settle it down a little bit more. The way this Towson team is, let's see what the defense gives you here. Really work the ball.
Thornton, and we get a call. And gonna reposition Montalbano for the 8-meter. So another opportunity for Caitlin Montalbano and the Tigers. So dangerous in this position and got all the way there. There's a reason that she didn't quite finish that play.
A little bit of contact as the Elon defense is collapsing. As she grabbed her head. Looks like there will be no yellow card.
Right back to another free position. Montalbano against Cipollone. Goes low, and Cipollone wins this one.
Great save. Cipollone just reading Montalbano the entire way as she's releasing the shot.
And good anticipation momentarily by Torcello.
A little too much contact there. Coach Hexter looking for the yellow card.
Godfrey, who has the lone goal of the game for the Phoenix so far. After Asher, who becomes your next best goal scorer? That's the question the Phoenix want to answer on the back end of this season. Have some others that have maybe threatened to step into the role.
You know, if you look at the offensive production of Elon, Stephanie Asher leading this team 32 points. Who's second? Nicole Sinacori.
Yeah.
And she hasn't played in 4 games. So I think that that's a question that this Phoenix team is still figuring out. Is it Maeve Cowley? Is it Summer? Is it Melissa Birdsell?
Nice split of the double by Godfrey. Birdsell had to go low. And quickly backed up. Quick restart for the Phoenix. Just about at the halfway point of the opening half, and this picking up off the carom with the shot clock winding down. And a turnover for the Phoenix.
It's the second shot clock expiration that we've seen, and that's really credit to the Towson defense. You know, I think that, you know, what we spoke about earlier, Coach LaMonica, she preaches discipline. I think that that's one thing. When the offensive, you know, when the shot clock was met the Division I game, a lot of people thought the scores would be higher. I can't recall a rule that rewards defense as much as the shot clock. So we've really seen, you know, if you can hold a team for 90 seconds, you get the ball back.
Why are they off to their second best start in school history? Not only scoring more, but defending even better. Their defensive numbers about a goal less from where they were a season ago. Montalbano playing it back to X. Foul on the Phoenix. Abby Mona is a sophomore from Annapolis. Is the one with the 8-meter. Again, part of that depth at attack with Love and along with Cha. And elected to play it back. And this time it's Telecamp in that 6'2" frame. And taking some contact. But guess what? Nobody home. Cipollone ends up emerging with that ball.
No call. I think that both coaches, you know, Elon was looking for a charge. Towson was looking for a block.
And they got nothing. Ground ball picked up by Maddie Tribby. Have the luxury, does this Tiger team, of having a couple of very skilled players at the draw control circle. Tribby is another one of them, along with Somanti.
Yeah, I think that this Towson team, what we've seen today is where they have not been succeeding on the draws of Elon outdrawing Towson 5-1. Their defense is just so strong. Every 50-50 ball we've seen today, it's been 100% in Towson's favor.
Yeah, I mean, how often do you see a team that gets dominated at the draw control circle be up like this?
There's a lot of pressure on this Tigers defense, and they have just, I mean, they've been one of the most, if not the most impressive defensive unit we've seen so far this spring, and we're seeing that here today.
Natalie Somanti with a free position opportunity. .40 points on the year, and add another one.
So Monty, so explosive off that hash, and she just does a great job when she's diving in, when she's driving in, protecting her stick and making a smart shot decision there.
Towson goal.
It's a 24th goal of the year for the Levittown, New York junior, who actually battled shin splints a year ago.
And she's one of those players. Before this goal, you kind of think in the back of your head, I haven't said Natalie Samonti's name in a long time. And that's just how deep this team is. Every play, it just seems like somebody else is stepping up and getting open here.
And also becomes the 4th different Tiger, joining the likes of Telekamp, Montalbano, and Gillingham. And that Loyola game always particularly tough because of the competition that exists between Jen Adams and Sonia LaMonica, former collegiate teammates.
Former international teammates.
Yeah.
And a lot of these girls too. I mean, Towson, Loyola, heavy Baltimore rosters. A lot of these girls grew up playing with each other, playing against each other.
Friendships and rivalries both forged over a long time. More than halfway gone here in our opening half. And again, Elon with another one. Birdsale and friends getting tough. Stephanie Asher, Cami Lynch, Mary Curtin all out there for the Phoenix. Along with Cowley, certainly potential for scoring punch. Just tough to do it against one of the top defensive units, not only in the CAA, but in the country.
Another great stop there by Kylie Keating.
And early on, 3 saves on what's 4 shots for Keating. Some contact, but no call. As Conti bringing it into the attack zone. So Monty playing it back behind.
Great ball movement here. What a read. Bridget Lamb, great interception here.
And I think that's what we forget talking about this Towson defensive unit. Elon can certainly play too. Dupere ends up shut off. Keating with a nice recovery.
I want to see one more pass there on that transition.
It's like a three-man weave in basketball. You got to throw the extra one to where the defender isn't.
Melissa Birdsell was wide open there on that side of the crease. And a tall target at that, Telecamp 6'2". Melissa Birdsell, 5'11", setting herself up in the middle of the circle there.
Yeah, maybe one of the players that could step up and be that second scoring option. 9 goals, 9 points on the year. And has done it efficiently. 13 of her 15 shots have been on goal this season.
We see Tiana Walford just face guarding Stephanie Asher, denying her the ball.
But there are other options, and there's Cowley. Second goal of the game for the Phoenix.
Cowley doing a great job on an individual effort here, dodging hard. Right over Keating's stick. Definitely a shot she'll want back. But you asked me earlier, who steps up for Nicole Sinakori? Maeve Cowley really coming on hot. She's one of the leaders of this offense alongside, of course, Asher and Abby Godfrey.
Yeah, the trophy room at the Cowley household must be an interesting place. Dad was an All-American wide receiver at Holy Cross. Mom played soccer for the Crusaders. And then, we don't even stop there, her grandfather drafted in basketball by the Boston Celtics. And Maeve certainly no slouch on the lacrosse field either. Coming off a hat trick, 3 goals on 5 shots in the win over Hofstra. And has her team back to within 2. Elon again winning the shot battle, winning the draw control battle. Both teams perfect on clears.
Rachel Mills going to be called there with an illegal draw. Elon with another opportunity.
And Mills, another one of those players, provides a bit of a change of pace at the draw control circle, different style. Godfrey was the one who started the scoring. You look at the slide from Conti, just nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go, a little bit of contact there, but not a foul. Just letting Godfrey know she's there.
Plus, if you're the CAA Defensive Player of the Year, I think you get a little more liberty, don't you? At least you would think. Wanted Birdsell on the cut, but it was quickly cut off. Dupere, played by Lynch. Circling around, and a quick double, and another Phoenix turnover. That's the 7th one of the game.
Another Phoenix turnover, but still ample time. I mean, those are the passes. Still a lot of time. 25 seconds left on the possession clock. I'd like to see, when Elon is playing deliberately offensively and really looking for those good shots, they're getting them. So I'd like to see them hold and look for those a bit more.
Yeah, it's funny because at one end you have a team that's a little more possession, and at the other, Towson likes to get up and go, run and gun.
Great pressure there by Elon, and speed upfield in transition.
Phoenix have definitely hung tough. How do you get in, though, on a defense that has a CAA All-Rookie, the Defensive Player of the Year, and a captain in Walford? Those are 3 different players.
And Walford doing a great job of limiting Asher, really taking Elon's quarterback out of the game.
It's funny because in talking to Sonia LaMonica a year ago, they weren't necessarily sure when they initially took a chance on her, because She was coming from a program in UMBC that at the time was going through some struggles.
And she's really bad. I mean, you talk about Conti, you talk about Chenoweth. You know, the player, I think Walper's the calming presence back there. She's the general.
And look at this speed. This is her showcasing it end to end.
Sparking transition here. Oh, wide open there.
Telecamp.
Go, Carl, go!
Oh, Gillingham wide open twice in there in transition.
Yeah, coming through the middle. But they just keep running cutters. And Cipollone this time with a big save. Trying to execute a successful clear. Nice run for Haran. And the contact from Gillingham.
Gillingham there, yellow card, it looks like. Definitely not one, but 2 checks to the head. As she'll take a seat on the sideline. 81 seconds on the possession clock here. If you're Elon, you're man up. I think this is an important time to really possess. Look for, identify that 2v1. I started coaching this year, and I'm always telling my team, if you're man up, don't think of yourself 7v6. Find the 2v1.
Hey, this a big last 6 minutes in terms of sequence. You think about it just from a psyche standpoint. But the Phoenix with a big-time missed opportunity, given away out of bounds by Cooper.
Huge missed opportunity there, and I think what we were going to see is they were working the ball around. Walper out of that face guard, so Asher able to get herself into the offense. An unfortunate turnover there for Elon.
Yeah, a long way to go in this one, but if at the end of the day, you look back at somewhere where things didn't go right for the Phoenix. 9 turnovers, 6 of them have been caused by the Tigers, but 2 or 3 self-inflicted as well.
Elon returning the favor here.
Yeah.
Putting pressure on. Still time on this yellow card. An opportunity to have a man-up offense if they can clear successfully.
But quickly taken away. Here come the Tigers. Solmonte. And Telecamp. And waiting for the cavalry in the form of Chaley Love coming off the bench.
Chaley's been seeing more minutes. Really that player that finds herself open. 4 goals on the season, but look at her shot percentage, shooting almost 70%. So when she's open there, typically she's making very good decisions with the ball.
It comes from another good program in Maryland, Winters Mill. Had 52 goals as a senior back in high school to lead her team. That's something else that's impressive about this Towson team. That, yeah, they can be run and gun, they can get up a transition, but they can be possession when they need to be.
That's what really I think I've seen out of them most today, which has been impressive.
Solmonte getting right into the middle.
Coach Hexter asking for a charge there, convinced his defense was in great body positioning. Instead, looks like Leah Zajura will get a yellow card here. Watching in. Possibly a little contact to the neck there. I always say, I didn't see it, but I'm not on the field. The refs have a better view.
Isn't it just great to just see yourself out of that situation, just like that? Don't have to worry about it.
It didn't look like it to me, but.
However,
I'm not down there.
Solmonte 7 of 13 on 8 meters coming in. And make it 8 of 14. Bangs home another one.
Great shot there. Perfect placement. Really the toughest shot for a goalie to save. Get it down low, bounce it. I always struggled with that in college. It's not the prettiest shot, but it is the most effective.
Towson goal. Scored by number 11, Natalie Salmonti.
Salmonti's second free position shot. She's just so quick off that hash. Bounce shot. Works 9 out of 10 times.
So now 101 career goals for Salmonti. Said earlier, shin splints ended up hampering her a season ago. The only cure for those is to run. That's it. That's the only way you eliminate shin splints.
Really?
There's no other.
I thought you were going to say rest.
No.
Run.
You run more. And another draw control awarded Birdsell.
Same draw control violation called on Towson's Rachel Mills. Sun is starting to set here. A little bit more shade on the field. I think that some of the errant passes we were seeing as the sun was just starting to set right into the eyes of these players.
Yeah, I mean, just trying to identify personnel, I can't imagine actually being out there when the ball's whizzing by.
If you're Elon attacking from the left hand, Towson from the right, that's a tough pass to catch there.
Scrum on the ground ball that ends up won on the contact by the freshman Thornton. Gillingham gracefully into the attack
great
zone.
look.
Perfect setup, but just missed. So Monty was thinking about a first half hat trick.
Oh, Gillingham, beautiful feed there. Drawing the double, dumping to Salmonte. She wants that shot back.
Montalbano with a setup for Cha, and out of the reach of Salmonte.
Oop. A few overrun ground balls there.
Yeah, Lynch almost had it, and knocked out of bounds. Last touch by Conti.
Great check there by Bridget Lamb off Conti's stick. Love it here, Conti getting it right back, causing that turnover.
Montalbano quickly into the
one more.
zone. And Telecamp bounce shot and a score.
Textbook transition. Started with Olivia Conti. I'm always so quick to credit the player that caused that turnover, sparked this transition, and the way Montalbano reads this Elon defense sliding. So Monty, quick pass, Telecamp, smart shot on the crease.
2 goals in what was a minute and 50 seconds to now push this to a 4-goal game for the Tigers.
Watch Montalbano just reads this Elon defense so perfectly, and right there, that's the key. A quick hitch and bury low for Telecamp.
Carly Telecamp a year ago, second team All CAA, and great to see her back and fully healthy because a season ago was coming off of that ACL from the previous year.
Her freshman year, she was one of the top rookies in the country when she went down with that ACL tear. And you just never know how a player's going to respond from the ACL surgery, the rehab, and it did. Admittedly, she said it did take a little bit of a while to get comfortable again on her own 2 feet. This year, entirely healthy, back to that shape she was in freshman year.
2 minutes for the Phoenix to try and maybe build a little late momentum going into the break. Elon had big last 12-minute sequences. Both the first and second halves in the 12-8 win over Hofstra.
Towson relentlessly pressuring there, and Sammy Chenoweth, the ball, I mean, this Towson defense has just been so impressive. The minute the ball is on the ground, they're coming up with it.
And I know we're harping on this, but Can you believe that she's not even the best defender in this unit?
I think, yeah, really, this is a Towson defense that by the end of the year will have 3 All-Americans.
Yeah, definitely an achievable goal. Mike Molster, the one who works with the defense and the goalies, one of Sonia LaMonica's assistants. And her husband, Mike LaMonica, focusing more on the offense.
And both doing an incredible job this year. That's really, coming into the year, you always know Towson's defense is going to be good. Traditionally, especially with the possession clock, they're so good at a zone defense. But offensively, that's where this team has really impressed me most in 2018.
So Monty playing it back. Top of the zone and Montalbano. Good slide for the Phoenix. Telekamp quarterbacking this offense. And wanted her on the cut. Right idea, but they're able to get it back. Final 20 seconds of the first half. So Monty back to Axon Telekamp again. They just keep circling cutters.
Oh, great look. Oh.
And they get it right to the middle of the zone, but couldn't convert. Maddie Dickman. Final couple seconds. And so Monty won't get it off. So at the end of a half of play, a couple of late goals for the Towson Tigers make this a 6-2 game in favor of Sonia LaMonica's club. Hallie and I are back for the second half in just a few minutes. And we could very well see them in the semifinals of that CAA tournament in a few weeks.
I mean, you look at how this Elon team started. Duke, Virginia, Notre Dame, High Point, Stanford, North Carolina, all ranked teams. I think they've learned a lot in those games to ready themselves for the CAA.
A win at the draw control circle to start the second half for Conti and the Tigers. Montalbano had the big setup to Telekamp to close out the first half. This time it's Telekamp doing the feeding, and Solmonti ends up drawing what is a foul call and an 8-meter.
I think that's her third 8-meter, maybe from that specific hash too. She likes attacking from that side of the 8-meter, and Telekamp certainly reading that.
Already with a pair of goals today, Natalie Solmonti surpassed 100 for the career earlier. Cipolloni's been big. Can she come up again? Not this time.
And that's Solmonti's third goal off a free position today. And in the same fashion, she's just so explosive off that 8-meter, but she protects her stick so well. She uses her, we've been talking about some of the taller players. She uses her height to her advantage there, kind of cradles her stick in her body, gets herself wide open for a crease finish.
Number 26 on the year, third one of the game. Yeah, a year ago in that semifinal, Elon outshot Towson 26-25. They split the draw control circle. And Howie had mentioned it earlier, if not for the fact that the Phoenix have done so well on these, could be talking about an even worse Towson lead. But the Tigers have picked up both of them to start this second half. This time it's Sammy Chenoweth.
When Chenoweth is near the ball and it's on the grass, she's coming up with it. She just reads the ball so well when it's on the ground.
Telekamp as they run Gillingham through on the cut. Another quick one and out of bounds. Sachs lost it, but partially deflected out.
Great check there, definitely deflected.
They wanted Telekamp, instead it squirts back through to Chaley Love. Somehow found her way out of a double. Multiple dodges to get free and putting it in the back of the net. And another goal for the Tigers, this time Thornton. 20th of the year.
Dancing offensively down there. And right here, you know she's going to goal. Feeling the defensive pressure behind her, on her back.
But maybe not.
Another illegal stick.
So that's the first one for the Tigers.
Once again, that stick will be removed from play. She'll have to get her back up, make sure that that passes the stick check.
Where do they send the sticks that don't pass? Do they go to the Island of Misfit Toys, or what exactly happens?
That's exactly where they go. They go to the penalty, the scores table down on field.
I meant after the game.
They just
Is there a secret room or something?
Tweaked back to legality.
Okay. So they're not cast aside permanently, is what you're saying?
Not cast aside permanently.
Okay.
But it is an adjustment. I mean, that's what I think it's so important during practice. Our coaches would always harp on it. Make sure you're using your backup stick, breaking in that pocket, because you never know when your stick's going to be deemed illegal. You never know when your shooting string's going to break, and you have to work your backup into play.
So after the illegal stick, Asher was the one to get the start from the top of the circle. Now J.C. Cooper, who had a tough first half for the Phoenix. Finding ways, though, to get Stephanie Asher open off the ball.
And here it looks like Walfer is not in the face guard. Asher is open and able to get herself involved. Great look there.
Birdsell is the recipient. And how about that swing? The goal waved off at one end for the Tigers, and Birdsell comes back with her 10th of the year.
Huge momentum opportunity, and Birdsell right here, cross crease. Quick, just kind of a slam dunk in there. Keating unable to even adjust when she turns around. Birdsell right here, quick catch and a shot. Beautiful look there by Erin Morsheimer.
I know we've been drawing basketball parallels. That was almost the quick lob and the finish. 10th one of the year for the CAA All-Rookie from a year ago.
And that's what Birdsell did so well last year, where she really emerged as a freshman and a threat for this Phoenix team. She gets herself open in the 8-meter, and I think that a lot of people, you know, when you say that consistently about a player, that's not just luck. That's reading what the defense gives you, seeing heads turn and getting yourself open, and of course, finishing a smart shot there.
Always one of the players that in these last couple seasons of doing these CAA games, when we talk to Josh Hexter, says she eats up film. She can't get enough in terms of her preparation, game in, game out.
And he said that about his team this year as a whole. You spoke with him before we headed into this game, and he said, you know, the team's really bought in preparation and film and preparing for these games.
Now can they come up with another turnover? Conti. And lost it herself. Cipollone having a tough time corralling it. We talked about Rachel Ramirez a year ago. That's where she was so good. Had the single season draw control record for this program. How many times do you say that about a goaltender?
Well, ground ball.
Yeah, or excuse me, ground ball.
That would be crazy for
Yeah, that would be crazy. You're exactly right. That would be a long way away to step out from the cage. It's the sun, Hallie. It's beating down into the booth.
It really is directly in our view now.
Cowley, who had the second goal of this Phoenix tally.
Wide open there. Birdsell again on crease.
This time Curtin, who had a goal waved off earlier for the illegal stick. Psycho it back, and yeah, out of the reach of Cowley. Nice job, though, by Haran to play it back in.
Great read there defensively. 18 seconds on the possession clock. And Olivia Conti, that's what she does best.
Just ruins possessions.
She's a possession ruiner.
That's right.
She's just, she emerged last year, obviously CAA Defensive Player of the Year, All-American as a freshman.
And I had said to Sonia LaMonica, who is the biggest impact player as a freshman you've ever had? She said, hands down, it's her, even in 8 seasons. And I don't think it's a stretch that by the time maybe she leaves, you talk about her as maybe one of, if not the best the league's ever had.
Certainly, I think that what's so special about her as a player, she goes for those, she causes those turnovers, goes for those checks, but has body positioning.
Timeout for the Tigers. A reminder that Lac Sports Network is your home for CAA lacrosse every Tuesday night, 8:30 Eastern. You can watch CAA Press Pass, an in-depth look at all things CAA lacrosse, including highlights and interviews with the conference's top players and coaches. CAA Press Pass every Tuesday at 8:30, and it's only right here on Lac Sports Network. If you're tuning us in for the first time, or whether you've been here all night, Matt Martucci, and the former Syracuse standout, Hallie Quillinan, now Griggs. Brad Kasnet is our producer, and our entire fine LSN crew as the sun begins to set here on Rudd Field. And the Phoenix thinking about what would be a tough proposition, a comeback against a top 10 team here in Towson. A team that, by the way, we haven't really talked a whole lot about this, prides itself on its ability to win away from home. 16-6 on the road in now the last 3 seasons, these Tigers.
I think Towson today, Coach LaMonica headed into the half. She said, we're going to make adjustments on the draw. That's what we need to do. She wasn't happy with her team's performance. Already 3 draw controls in the second half to Elon's 1. So those adjustments working.
The depth of this team on display all afternoon. Both of these teams trying to remain unbeaten in CAA play against a James Madison team. That's what Towson will see in a couple weeks to close out the regular season. That'll be the Tigers' senior day in a game that's going to be on our air. But JMU, last we saw, getting all it could handle tonight, at least at one point. What's going on in that game, Hallie?
Check that one out. Of course, JMU playing William and Mary.
And ended up pushing it back with a big run, it looks like.
14-4.
William and Mary hanging in early, but
21-4.
21-4 ends up being the final. So it didn't last.
It was 2-all.
Again, the Phoenix defense coming up. But having trouble getting the ball out of there. Conti and Birdsell in a scrum. And the restart for the Tigers.
Here's Gillingham.
Coming across, that's Somonti.
I love this offense, this wing play here. Gillingham up here on the right hand, strong left. Salmonti with her right.
And again, I think if she had maybe completely possessed that, lost it a little bit, maybe you were talking about a 4th goal.
I just love the offensive setup with the 2 of them really facing off one another on both sides.
Already played 5.5 minutes here in the second half. Phoenix have hung in thanks to the draw control circle, 10 for 14 today. And at one point early in this game, well, not so much early, but at least the first half of the opening 30 minutes, they were out shooting the Tigers. But just weren't able to convert on a lot of those opportunities.
Another clear here. Asher possessing the ball. Once again, they've elected not to face guard her and deny her the ball early in the second half.
You wonder maybe how long does that last if you start to get some other players involved.
I was wondering that, so I would like to see her really take advantage of the fact that she is open. The ball is able to work through her stick.
Godfrey circling back and wanted Asher, who has to fight for it.
Empty check there on. A held stick there, rather, sorry.
And Sachs quickly through the midfield and into the attack zone.
A great check there.
Yeah, Montalbano getting all she can handle from Bridget Lamb.
Oh, huge foul there, missed call. Lot of physical play there as Godfrey hit the ground. Certainly it looked like an inadvertent foul, but a little too much contact there nonetheless.
Yeah, our press box vantage point, the window is open here. Heard someone on one of the sidelines say, "What is happening right now?"
That was a foul.
Well, from here, Towson's road trip will continue. If the Tigers are somehow able to emerge today, they would be 3-0 in the CAA, winners of 6 straight. They go to William and Mary on Sunday. And Elon, no rest for what is already a very challenged squad in terms of the opponents that have come in here. James Madison, the next one to come in.
It's a tough travel partner for any of these CAA teams. You have Towson and JMU coming to town, or of course you traveling there. 2 of the top teams in the CAA every year, but really 2 of the nation's premier teams across the board this spring.
Is that when you get the travel partner and maybe you hope you can shake the magic 8 ball and get another one?
Or if you're a conference with an odd number of teams, there is no travel partner.
Right.
Just one game that weekend.
Quinn Daly, a freshman who they really like, handling here. Asher, right idea. But Dupaire, mind was ahead of body, wanted to go before she possessed the ball.
And Keating right there, quick to pick up the garbage, taking advantage of that.
Shaylee Love making sure that this is in fact a successful clear. And Walper playing briefly a little two-way lacrosse.
Walfers, Samantha Brookhart, who was a standout for this team last year, Megan Doherty, Jen Giles at Maryland, all from Mount Hebron.
And low shot for Gillingham, cleaning it up. Telecamp.
We talk about Keating picking up the garbage on the defensive side of the field, and Telecamp doing a great job there. Right there, just so ready, putting the ball right past.
This is my favorite part, the celebration. She's just so much taller than everybody else.
Towson goal. Forward number 23.
Certainly a dominant presence out there, Carly Telecamp. So 2 on the night, 29 on the year. A few games back, career goal number 100 for Carly Telecamp. And sometimes it is just this easy. Right place, right time, bang.
She's had a couple of those tonight, though, so she's consistently getting herself in the right place.
Tribby now taking the draw control against Birdsell. And another win. They've been much better this second half.
Here's Rachel Mills. She's kind of taken draws, almost that Fogo type position today. She had 2 illegal draws in the first half, certainly making that adjustment here in the second.
Again, nice cut by Solmonti, another 8-meter coming. And correction, that was Mills instead of Tribby. Already 3 goals for Solmonti. And this time Cipollone coming up with another big save. That's her 8th one of the game. Tori Cipollone threatening maybe potentially for back-to-back games with double-digit saves. Played some of the best lacrosse of her career in the win over Hofstra.
Cipollone, even on that telecamp goal, she was on it. She had that first initial save. She's been reading the ball very well as it's been released this evening.
I think it's a tough proposition to ask your goaltender to stand tall all night when you're getting shots. Just haven't been able to get in on the Towson defense.
Towson now almost doubling Elon up in the shots. They've taken 22.
Asher nowhere to go with this.
Ooh.
And some contact on the slide, plenty of it.
That's lucky that's not a yellow card, obviously inadvertent, but still looked like there was a little bit of contact to the back of Asher's head there.
Stephanie Asher yet to get involved tonight with a big chance. And it goes wide of Keating, and we get a push near the crease.
Once again, a lot of contact on that shot. Asher's been getting beat up this offensive possession. It looked like the first contact was a yellow card that was missed. That second contact could have been as well.
Stephanie Asher came in 10 for 18. High percentage from the 8-meter.
I'd like Asher to see she's starting with her stick low, almost in front of her. I think with defensive collapsing in on both sides, I'd like to see her start with that stick high, already have it up for a shot. Get rid of that motion upward to take that time out of your shot.
And you would think that takes power away from your shot, does it not?
I think it takes power and it takes a couple seconds, and that's really, you want to take those seconds away. You want to get your stick up and ready to shoot.
Gillingham, swing and a miss.
That's a dangerous shot there. Oh. Looks like that's...
Yeah, that's what they're going to call.
I thought Godfrey was running off because of a card, but that'll be a Gillingham yellow card. Dangerous shot, dangerous follow through.
Now the second team all CAA selection, having to sit.
That's Emily Gillingham's second yellow card. She will not return
So that's it.
to the field tonight.
That's it. And that's a big loss. Not that Towson doesn't have the depth to withstand that, but certainly changes what you do, especially with running into the middle of that zone.
Absolutely.
Moran backs it out, retreats. Summer Larice, the one to run on, another scoring option for Elon. Got it to the middle of the zone. Cooper trying to track it down and does.
Great look there. That's the look you want. You want Asher to get involved in. Great recovery there as well for Elon.
Daly with a brief face dodge. Guarded up by Conti. Asher, wine, fire, and top shelf. Stephanie Asher on the board.
Asher on the board. Great shot. That's a highlight snipe. As you see Sammy Chenoweth ducking away from the shot before it's even being released. Great look there.
28th of the season for Stephanie Asher. And her 33rd point.
Beautiful shot there.
There was a couple seconds of confusion there. Yes? Hands up. Yes?
Once again, you know, I heard the whistle blow before the goal was called. So I think if you're, Coach LaMonica certainly frustrated down there. I understand. If you're going to blow the whistle for a potential shooting space call and then the shot, the goal counts, that's a little confusing there.
So they matched Telekamp's goal a few minutes later with Asher's first one.
Chenoweth again. It's like her stick is a magnet when the ball is on the ground.
Well, with Gillingham on the bench, here's where the Tigers' depth comes into play. Telekamp, once again, the one to quarterback this offense. Excellent feed.
Cipollone, great save there, reading the bounce.
From Somonti again.
And a tough shot there because she had a defender in front of her. And she's reading that.
And correction, I actually think that was Abby Mona. Ja was set up in the middle. Another try and another score. And another option. Maddie Dickman. Sonia LaMonica calls her one of the best lacrosse IQs they have. Let's see.
She knows she's wide open there. Quick shot. Once again, Montalbano just reading a defense so well, setting her teammates up for success. Right here, you see Dickman wide open, good release. Kira Oberle almost took that one. She ducked down.
Fourth one of the year for Maddie Dickman. Who by points is their 9th leading scorer. And that's the type of contribution you can get.
And I think that's what you'll see Dickman. She's going to start getting more reps because Gillingham is on the sideline.
Asher wins this draw. Big time contact though. Alexis Zajura going down in a heap. Haran, rare offensive opportunity this year for her. Sent it wide, it deflected off the Tigers.
Looked like that shot actually went off of Annie Sachs's foot there,
yep.
Behind the goal, so not a dangerous shot. But that one's gotta hurt.
Yeah, shake it off, because there's another one coming in a couple days. Cowley, hampered by Annie Sachs, playing both ways for the Tigers. Asher.
Asher again.
Yep.
I'm curious why Towson has elected to remove that face guard. I think she's dangerous as she continues to get more confident and more involved.
Maybe it's more of just an overall confidence in their defense. And I mean, with what's now a 5-goal cushion, and one that they've maintained for a good portion of this game, it's been 3, 4, 5 goals for most of it.
Looks Looks like that's going to be a tough break for Elon. It was an errant pass, but Bridget Lamb getting her stick on it to deflect it. Out of bounds will remain Towson possession.
Tigers have executed all but 2 of their clears this game. Elon all but 1. But the big difference, what's 10 caused turnovers by the Tigers and overall 19 giveaways from the Phoenix.
Well, and that's really been the case. I mean, Elon has been clearing it, but so many of their turnovers have come right after a successful clear. Towson causing that turnover 20, 25 yards out.
Six different players for the Tigers accounting for what's 9 goals.
Oh, great look there. Smart by Love to pull it out.
Montalbano sending it back behind. Thornton and Somonti, and Cipollone wins the battle.
Amante just attacking. I love the way she dodges. I mean, so often you see players, they dodge east to west, and she's such a north-south dodger, hits that lane in stride, and a great shot there too.
Back-to-back games, by the way, with double-digit saves now for Tori Cipollone. 10th one of the game. Thornton, multiple dodges.
Oh.
And how about the stick work there from the goaltender?
Cipollone, great save. Thornton, one more step. I think as a shooter, you get so excited when you're there on the crease, you beat your defender. Goal line extended, not the best angle. Take 1 or 2 more steps, get a better angle on that shot.
Back-to-back saves for Cipollone. You have some time if you're the Phoenix. Was just about to say you just need to be a little more efficient with the ball.
Looked like that was a pass almost right into Chenoweth's stick. As I mentioned, there is a magnet in there, so the ball is just going right into her stick. I mean, she has just been so impressive tonight.
Just a sophomore, and Sonia LaMonica raving about her high school program too, Manchester Valley.
And her and Lizzie Colson, Lizzie Colson, a first-team mid-season All-American. She plays at Maryland. The 2 of them, close friends from high school. They won multiple state championships at Manchester Valley.
Nice job by Chad to maintain.
Oh,
and look at that quick run. Montalbano just the blow-by.
Bridget Lamb, great back check there, though. Talk about north-south dodging, quick fake in, and Lamb, last-ditch effort.
Yep. And we get a timeout on the field for the Phoenix. It won't be long. The Lac Sports Network will be your home for not only CAA lacrosse, but 2018. It includes the entire CAA tournament on the women's side underway at James Madison, with the semis on Friday, May 4th, and then the championship game Sunday, May 6th. Hallie and I will have all 3 of those games. The only place to see them is right here on Lac Sports Network. And you wonder, will those semifinals potentially feature what is in fact a rematch? And Kelsey Dupere, not pictured on your screen for Elon, having to go off with an injury during the timeout. And for Dupere, that's an unfortunate break, because this is a player that she had battled injuries already. She had only played in 6 of the 10 games so far this year.
She's had 2 shots tonight, 2 ground balls. It's certainly a player, as Elon attempts to mount this comeback, you'd want to see get involved offensively.
Yeah, it had a goal in the game against Hofstra, which was just her 4th one back. So this actually tonight, game number 5 for Kelsey Dupere. But having to go off, and a significant piece to that Elon attack unit and their offense in general. So you had Gillingham go out after the 2 yellow cards for Towson, and Elon having to deal with a bit of adversity via injury.
And Elon, when
when you connected with Coach Exter, he mentioned that this is a team that has been struggling with injuries, not just Sinakori, but we've seen a number of players kind of been hampered by injuries, not playing in every game thus far this spring.
Sinakori's such a big loss because of not only the way that she could score, but the way that she could set up her teammates as well. Such just a good distributor as we got to see a couple times last season.
Yeah, I think that last year she was kind of that unsung hero offensively when Stephanie Asser was producing,
but also drawing doubles and getting face guarded. I think it was Sinakori's ability to step up, produce, and kind of take on that leadership role that made the difference for Elon in the CAA tournament.
Said earlier it was the victory over Towson, more or less, put him over the top for what was a bid in. And Josh Hexter actually simplified it for what kind of the ailment was at the beginning of last season and some of this season. A little too results focused instead of just going out there and having fun. Said, hey, sometimes we were frankly just worried about wins and losses and not going out there and playing our game. Trickle out of bounds. Phoenix turn it over again. Moran briefly got it back.
Towson kind of deliberate in their transition game here. They've been so smart as to when to push it and when to pull it out and look for that smart look and set something up offensively.
Montalbano seems to do a really good job of recognizing when it's time to throw it back to X.
She does. We talk about Walford defensively as the field general. I love the way that Montalbano kind of sets things up offensively on top of the 12-meter there.
Telekamp, who's able to use that size to see over the top. Nice feed on the cut. Little whirling dervish there for Thornton.
Great defense there. Alexis Zajura. Gosh, that last name mixes me up there. Taking the charge, setting her feet right here. Thornton just spinning, and the minute she turns her back, loses control of her body there at her dodge.
Zajura, haven't talked a ton about her, but the senior leader, one of them of this defensive unit for Elon. Second team All-CAA a year ago at a preseason selection before this season started.
Elon setting an offense up, setting a dodge up here for Cami Lynch.
On her!
Cowley.
Great defense here by Caitlin Montalbano. Just playing the body, not going for the check.
Nothing there for the Phoenix. "17 shots on the night, 12 of them have been on goal. And the 4 scores to show for it.
Walford back on Asher, denying her the ball, and Elon struggling to create now.
And an 8-meter for Lynch. Only 1 for 5 on the year. Cami Lynch coming in. Wind and fire and out of bounds, but the backup for the Phoenix.
Annie Sachs getting his stick on that there.
And we talk self-inflicted wounds. Asher able to make up for that. Cowley, and that would have been a good one, but end of the possession clock and a turnover.
Great look there offensively. Wish it came a couple seconds prior. It did look like it was a shot on goal, deflected off of Keating's stick. That's, I believe, the third possession clock ticking down for Elon. Great defensive efforts by Towson tonight.
Keating coming way out, and with the 5-goal cushion, why not?
Great clear there by Keating, too.
Thornton, who, hard to believe, has 3 years left in her collegiate
Great
career.
look.
Look at that feed. But the quick denial after Mona was right there. Telekamp, though, got the deflection.
Great look there by Thornton.
And Cipollone, after Mona took a shot.
Cipollone, hand on her hip there, not happy with that call. She has been fantastic here tonight. Beautiful save there.
13 saves for Cipollone.
Smart play by Mona there. When you're on that 8-meter, you don't necessarily have an angle.
Getting toward last gasp time for the Phoenix here in these last 8 minutes. If it were really any other defense, you'd think you'd have more of a chance, but you just don't see Towson giving up more than a goal or two, maybe at most here in these final minutes.
Towson just relentless on their redefending efforts. They have 12 caused turnovers tonight to Elon's 3.
Now that possession clock, as it has been now for a few minutes, starts to become more of an ally. Montalbano, who's been so good at both distributing and scoring tonight. Telekamp. Nice feed and over the shoulder toss and out of bounds for Cha. A nice welcome back though for Gabby Cha tonight after several games of absence, coming off of the knee.
It's going to be a 3-second violation here. And Kira Oberly.
And Montalbano with another free position.
Last year, that was moved from a major to a minor foul, so you weren't getting an 8-meter possession. Of course, that switched back. A lot of teams kind of taking advantage of that rules change a season ago, and that is, again, a major foul that results in a free position.
This one goes wide of Cipollone. Who knows, Hallie, maybe later in the year we look at this little 2-game stretch for Tori Cipollone and say this was her coming out party.
This was her turning point. I definitely think so. She has been sensational. And really, you look at the draw controls now here in the second half, Towson dominating them, yet Cipollone has really stood on her head back there, making sure that Elon is still in this game.
Said earlier in the broadcast, no easy task to replace Rachel Ramirez. Best one that this program has seen. Seems like ages ago that Godfrey had the first one for Elon tonight. And Conti with a foul.
And it looks like Asher with Walfer on her. She's electing to use her face guard as more of a pick scenario rather than her teammates picking to get her open. Oh, as I say that.
And just couldn't corral the ball. Down to our final 5 minutes, and what with a Sonia LaMonica coach team is the time of the game where this is cruise control.
Cruise control, but I think crucial to play smart. Finish what you started here. This is that mental part of the game where coaches don't like to see you let up. Great defensive collapse there by Elon.
And Shaylee Love threw it back. And a big run. The speed of Haran through the boxes. Birdsell, who had the big alley-oop goal earlier in the half.
And Elon electing to pull it out. And I kind of wish they had the numbers in transition. They're down by just enough with not much time left. I wish I saw them push the tempo there a bit more.
More contact, Conti in the fray.
That was outside the 12. That was outside the 8.
Towson coaching staff not happy with that call. Cammy Lynch on the 8-meter foul did occur outside the 8.
And with a run in, and taking more contact, and as a result, we'll get another one. Cammy Lynch, whose best lacrosse still ahead of her, just a sophomore from Red Bank, New Jersey.
Oh, great look, turn that corner.
And a better opportunity.
I loved Lynch's dodge there, kind of bait Conti, then dodge around her.
Elon Keating, who wins the battle.
3 Lynch setups, Keating just waiting there for a shot. Great read, start to finish there.
Kindly Keating one, talked about by Sonia LaMonica in our conversation as one that was a surprise. Was the starting goaltender to begin the season last year, but then ended up taking a back seat to Benson. Coach LaMonica mentioned a bit of a learning experience for her, that she had to win her job not only that first time, but every day.
And certainly now as a sophomore, you know, it's a valuable lesson to learn as a freshman coming in.
Found it interesting, by the way, having to see James Madison the other day. Dukes still haven't necessarily solidified their keeping situation. Molly Darty ended up making her first career start when we were in Harrisonburg last weekend.
And I think for the Dukes, that's just it's a good problem to have. You know,
It
I think
is.
if you have depth at the goalie position, certainly on one hand, obviously Coach Clace Balcom not thrilled with either starting goalkeeper's performance, but it's great to have depth there. It's great to have options.
Especially when you know that your season is going to extend for a little while.
Certainly a game circled on everyone's calendar is the Towson James Madison matchup, fittingly at the end of the regular season.
Dukes will come in here on Sunday for what's a 1 o'clock opening draw. Towson will go to William and Mary. Telecamp, Cipollone going down to her knees.
Great save here for her today. If there has been a difference in this game, in my opinion, for either team, it has been the play of Cipollone tonight.
Well, certainly kept this from what could have been potentially really tough night for the Phoenix. And while they won't end up winning this game, certainly at least had a chance to make it interesting in large part because of her play.
I think especially her play down the stretch in the second half when the draws were not going Elon's way. She really stepped up huge.
And this one is a tough proposition. Gets beat here. And another goal.
Shaylee Love.
Yep. And again, the depth. That's the first one of the night for Love.
And once again, Maltabano kind of setting that up. Up to Annie Sachs. Perfect look to Shaylee Love. And I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, nearly 70% shot percentage when she's in there. And she's made a number of smart decisions. When the defense has collapsed on her, she pulls it out. And right there, no defense to collapse. Perfect shot placement.
Well, the first name Chaley is Latin for heaven.
Heaven Love.
Heaven Love. Wide open middle of the zone. That's heaven right on the lacrosse field, isn't it?
Fair.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
Had to think about it for a second.
Great read there by J.C. Cooper.
Asher winded fire. Keating deflected it.
Chenoweth again coming up with the ground ball.
Take your time! Take your time!
Towson sideline. Mike Bolster among those yelling, "Take your time."
Possession clock not ticking down because the game clock is at 60 seconds.
What will be career win number 104 for Sonia LaMonica, her 96th as the head coach of the Towson Tigers. Clock is off and they can just possess for these last 35.
Choosing to work the ball around, not look for that last goal.
That will be the 73rd time that the Towson Tigers will have won a game under Sonia LaMonica, scoring 10 or more. 73-9 when they score 10 plus in the LaMonica era. And conversely, now 70-13 when they hold an opponent under 10. So down to now what is 2 unbeatens in the CAA.
That's the game, fans.
One is Towson, the other one will come in here on Sunday.
Towson 10 and Elon 4.
The Tigers, by virtue of their
Elon, I'd
depth,
also like to thank you for your
able to
attendance
weather
at
the
today's
storm
game.
without Emily Gillingham for the large part of the second half, and end up better off than they were at the break. 10-4 the final score in favor of the Tigers.